Good morning, I'm meteorologist Ross Whitley. Tropical storm Gordon is nearing hurricane strength and starting to see signs that this is strengthening with that convection. This is moving off to the west-northwest at 17 miles per hour, 65-mile-per-hour max wind speeds at the center of rotation, and 75 for a wind gust. Expected to become a hurricane by the next advisory. By 1 o'clock, it'll be south of about Pensacola and Mobile Bay at a minimal hurricane strength, but this will continue to strengthen until it makes landfall somewhere between Mobile and Gulfport, likely heading right toward Gulfport and thereabouts in the cone of uncertainty you can see. So well off to our west and southwest today, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to be affected by this storm. The outer bands will be moving through. We're going to have a windy, raw day, and definitely at the beaches we do have a tropical storm warning in place. But first, a hurricane warning from the Pearl River back to Mobile Bay and really Pensacola. That's where we do have the hurricane warnings in place. You'll see the advisory saying Sunday or Monday, but really they're just in there for the duration of the event. So once the conditions outside no longer warrant a warning, then these warnings will be dropped. Same thing with our tropical storm warning, which is in place for the waters of Walton Bay and Gulf counties, as well as just inland in Okaloosa County. We do have a high surf advisory in effect for the area as well, thanks to high wind and waves near the coastal areas. This also includes beach erosion and rip currents. We have a rip current statement out with this high surf advisory. The waters are closed today. We do have double red flags flying all the way through back across the Forgotten Coast. Franklin County, Gulf County, Bay County, Walton County, and Okaloosa County have double red flags flying, so you cannot get in the Gulf waters today. Please adhere to those warnings. We do have plenty to talk about as far as Tropical Storm Gordon is concerned. Area of rotation right there, starting to show signs of strengthening due to some lightning in the center as well as a flare-up in convection. But the outer bands is what we'll be dealing with here along the coastline all day today. Now the strongest part of these outer bands starting to enter the region of Gulf County. Cape San Blas will be the first ones to see this heavier convection, and with that heavier convection we could have winds mixing down to the surface, 25-30 miles per hour, not out of the realm of possibilities, as well as some sporadic lightning out there. As we go into this afternoon, it will transition into more of a severe thunderstorm type of threat, but a raw, windy day across the coastline today, dealing with Tropical Storm Gordon, which will likely become Hurricane Gordon over the next 5 to 6 hours. Futurecast showing that outflow band pretty close to accurate here, a little bit behind as far as the radar is concerned, but dealing with heavy rain right along the coastline. And you'll notice that the rain shield doesn't extend too far inland. I do expect us to have some lighter rain and showers from Tallahassee, Marianna, Dothan, back up to the Alabama border line. But the heaviest rain and strongest winds today will be right along the immediate coastline, about 25 to 30 miles inland south of I-10. That's going to be the nastiest weather today. As we go into this afternoon, again, transitioning from steady, heavy rainfall to these scattered showers and thunderstorms. And you notice these extended points on these thunderstorms. Those are rotation markers. Basically, what that means is that any of these thunderstorms that rotate in on this feeder band, called a feeder band because it feeds into the center of rotation, will have rotation, and those rotating storms can produce tornadoes. They can and will produce tornadoes today. If you have a tornado warning today, make sure you heed that warning as if you are about to be hit by a tornado. Most of the time, tropical storms, hurricanes produce tornadoes on the east side of systems. They're typically weak. They're typically short-lived. That doesn't mean you can't get a strong tornado from these thunderstorms. It also doesn't mean that it won't be long track. But most of the time, they form rather quickly, they dissipate rather quickly, and they're usually shallow in rotation, which means on radar, they're very hard to spot. So from here, from the radar, it's going to be hard to say, yes, there's a tornado there. Most of the time, they're warned after the tornado is on ground and somebody is called in saying, I'm looking at a tornado. So please, if you are under a warning today, heed that tornado warning as if you're about to be hit by a tornado. because it's quite possible that that might be the case. Aside from that, we're still going to be dealing with the heavy rain sporadically. The places that see these training thunderstorms in this band will have the highest rainfall totals that will likely stack up from Apalachicola back toward Panama City and then Destin, as the majority of the feeder band will feed in from Destin to Pensacola, so off to our west. The worst of the storm should stay off to our west. That's definitely where the highest winds are going to be. As we go throughout the day on Wednesday, our weather will rapidly improve, and by Thursday, we're actually looking at a pretty good day. That was our in-house model. Now, as far as the high-resolution model is concerned, it's showing you just how raw of a day it's going to be. As we get to about 10 a.m., we'll be dealing with the showers and thunderstorms here in Bay County, and then throughout the afternoon, it's all going to be about the feeder bands rotating around, with the heaviest rain most consistently staying from Panama City off to the west, but we'll still get these thunderstorms popping up on the feeder bands just off to the north and west of this rotation, and the rotation staying well offshore. As far as the rainfall totals are going, 2 to 5 inches of rain definitely possible right along the coastline. You'll notice that the heaviest precipitation, there's a sharp decline from about 4 inches of rain in Bluntstown to just up the road in Marianna, only picking up a ½ an inch of rain. If this system ends up a little further to the south and west, then you can shift this core rain where you're seeing the heaviest rainfall to the south and west. If it ends up a little bit further north, then you can shift the heaviest rain a little bit further north, and you'll see the totals along the coastlines increasing. Aside from that, our forecast does not change today with the path. We're not going to see a big swing to the north as far as the center of rotation is concerned, but we are going to be dealing with some heavy rain, some breezy conditions, and definitely high surf out there, as well as coastal beach erosion. Those are the biggest issues. As far as the wind goes, not going to be much of a concern throughout the day. 18 to about 30 miles per hour with the strongest winds, again, staying off to our west. We will have tropical storm conditions out there over the waters. That's about 40 mile per hour wind gusts, or 40 mile per hour sustained winds with wind gusts up to 50. Now, we may have that mixed down in some locations near the coast. Again, it's going to be a nasty, wet, windy day, but not really a huge concern as far as the wind goes and wind damages, at least not here. Destin back toward Pensacola, you notice the winds being much more intense, 36 to 20 miles per hour, sometimes gusting up to 50 in those locations. Here, as we head into this evening, we'll be worried about the thunderstorms, but as far as the wind goes, never really seeing it gust or get higher than about 35 miles per hour. And then the wind really lightens as we go into tomorrow and then beyond. We're not going to be seeing much in the way of wind speeds as we go from Wednesday into Thursday. So the impacts for today, likely we'll have winds about 25 to 40 miles per hour near the coast, definitely off to the west of Panama City. Rain, 3 to 5 inches is definitely possible near the coastline. As you move inland, it will be less, 2 to 4 feet as far as storm surge. Part of the concern, but thanks to our wind being parallel to the coast, we shouldn't see much of that here in Bay County. That's going to be more of the western parts of the Panhandle. Isolated tornado threat through this afternoon, going into the evening and overnights. Myself, Justin, and Sam will be here covering that all day. If we do have a tornado warning, we will cut in. We will give you the latest information, and you will be prepared throughout the day by following us on the WMVB, how you're watching it right now, and then again on TV. We'll be cutting in anytime there is a tornado warning that is put in place, or any other areas of concern as far as the weather. We'll get that information to you as quickly as possible. The other threat, and most likely the highest impact to the area, is going to be beach erosion, possible flooding right near the shoreline, and of course the heavy rain and wind that we'll be dealing with out there along the beaches. I'm meteorologist Ross Whitley. Stay tuned for updates throughout the day. We'll get them to you either through Facebook Lives or on the TV. And of course, you can always go to our website at our website at mypanhandle.com.